I used to get really nervous when I made calls to music publishers, music libraries, and music supervisors. I'm not really sure why, but a lot of people I know seem to have this same reaction. It's sort of like cold calling. Well, actually, it is a form of cold calling, which for a lot of people can be nerve-wracking. There's a sense of trying to get something from the other person that can be daunting. Well, over the years, and after making a lot of calls regarding my own music, and now making a lot of calls on behalf of my own music marketing company, I've developed a strategy for making calls that works for me almost every single time. And in this video, I thought I'd share it with you. Are you ready? It's pretty mind-blowing in its simplicity, which is why it's so effective, I think. Here it is. When you call whatever company you're calling and someone answers the phone, this is all you have to say. Hello. What is the best way to submit music to your company? That's it. You don't have to launch into an entire spiel about who you are and all you've done, and you don't have to ask if they're open to submissions. You simply ask what's the best way to submit your music, period. Then, if they're interested in who you are, or if they're open to hearing your music, they'll tell you. Let them direct the conversation. You just get it started by asking how to do what you want to do, which is submit your music. I find this approach the best because it's so simple, to the point, and it's really hard to screw up. In the licensing business, it really is about the music. What you've done doesn't necessarily make a huge difference. Of course, if you have a lot of licensing credits and it comes up in the conversation, by all means share that information. It can't hurt. But in the beginning, keep your conversation short and to the point. Really simple and very easy. Cultivating the right relationships are critical to achieving success in the music licensing industry. There are typically multiple people involved in any single licensing transaction, and it's important that you connect with people working in the business. But before I begin discussing this topic in the context of the music business and the music licensing business, I want you to think about how important networking and friendships are in all areas of life. I've consistently read that 75 to 80% of all jobs are found through either friends, colleagues, or recommendations. This percentage definitely has been true in my experience. I've landed a few odd jobs over the years by just walking in off the street or answering an ad in the paper, but the vast majority of really good jobs I've landed have been through people I've already known. It's human nature. People are simply more comfortable working with or relating with people they have a level of trust and comfort with. And people that are referred to us through people we already know, we generally feel better about. In the context of the music licensing business, it's crucial that you develop and form relationships with people working in the business. This may seem rather obvious, but it can't be overlooked if you're aspiring to license your music as a career. If you're making good music, it's fairly easy to get your music placed in a couple different libraries and then sit back and hope that something happens. Maybe it will, and maybe it won't. But if you want to increase your chances of learning about new projects and getting work on a regular basis, you need to take a more active approach. To understand why this is true, imagine yourself in the shoes of a really busy music supervisor or music publisher. It's not uncommon for many publishers to receive hundreds of submissions on a weekly basis. There simply aren't enough hours in the day to listen to this much music. This is why some companies don't accept any submissions from artists that aren't referred by someone they know. Fortunately, though, many companies in the licensing industry do accept unsolicited submissions, but you still need to rise above the barrage of submissions that are being submitted. How? Well, admittedly, in the beginning, it requires walking a fine line between patience and persistence. You need to be persistently pursuing making new connections while simultaneously being patient enough to not rub people the wrong way. Allow a few weeks to pass before contacting someone again, for example, if you don't get a response right away. But always follow up and be persistent enough to demonstrate that you're serious about your music and your career. And while you're waiting to hear back from one lead, start pursuing another. This kind of approach will go a really long way, and if you're approaching your life and career this way, success will come and will simply be a question of when and not if.